Can you make a promise today to the British public that you will not go back to Brussels and ask for another delay to Brexit?
Yes.
And
yes. And he looks away from her, address the audience, and his hand goes up, and not to cut her off her question, but the I'm done playing this game with the Brexit. I'm just done. And not necessarily to the audience itself, but he was interrupted. I would surmise and guess that it's more like to the behind the scenes that we are not privy to.
I can.
And would you
I'd rather be dead in a ditch.
I'd rather be dead in a ditch, and you see the neck move forward with his head. Ditch. And if you notice the police behind him when he says this, I'll go back and redo that.
public that you will not go back to Brussels and ask for another delay to Brexit?
Yes.
And
I can.
And
They're all stone-faced on this part. And we're talking about the police officers now. They're stone-faced. They're not given indications of their political leanings or if they're a Remainer or a Brexiteer. They're being stone-faced, which is good because the police should be neutral. They should just enforce the law, not make it up.
would you
I'd rather be dead in a ditch.
Oh, the gentleman cracks a smile. The woman directly behind him to his right shoulder cracks a smile. And if we let it continue to play, the blonde woman gives a slight smile as well.
you would resign first, Prime Minister?
And the woman all the way over here to the extreme right doesn't smile at all. She has no sense of humor at all. None. It's all gone. She's either in La La Land and not paying attention to anything, or is not amused.
So you would resign first, Prime Minister, rather than go and ask for that delay?
I just don't. I really. It costs £1 billion a month.
Really? And he's looking around. The body is stuttering. The mouth is stuttering. And then he finally comes to his hold. He brings up his thumb for his number one. Because in the U.S., we don't start with our thumb. And he starts giving his list. And he's really dead set on that.
It achieves absolutely.
So his body comes up, head comes back, and then he comes back in. Like in a hammer. The whole body comes into a hammer on how much they're paying. And then he comes up with his second point.
Nothing. What on earth is the point of...
And again, he hammers it with the head forward. There's slight movements, but it's hammering forward. He's exhausted. He's just had enough. Which, I guess, if you're a Brexiteer, that's a good sign. Because it just means that he's done. He's sat in his chair, metaphorically. He's not going to get up from it and entertain anyone else through that front door about staying in. He's getting out. And he shut the door and he's done. That is a good mindset for him to proceed with this Brexit.
A further delay. If I understood you correctly, you just said that the leader of the opposition says he cannot trust me to hold an election before Brexit. Right, well, I said about 5 times in Parliament, how many times I have to say it? We want an election on October the 15th. October the 15th. And indeed, earlier if he wants. Let's crack on with it. I really don't see how we can have a situation in which the British ability to negotiate is absolutely torpedoed by Parliament in this way, with powers of the British people handed over to Brussels so that we can be kept incarcerated in the EU without that actually being put to the people in the form of a vote.
I am looking at this, and you notice the one officer, the female behind his right shoulder, you saw that wiggle movement back and forth, and she's swaying. I think she's getting nauseous. I don't know what the temperature is. I'm going to assume that it's not hot like where I'm at. There's a thing when you stand at attention, they tell you don't lock your knees. And I think she's made that mistake of locking her knees because you start getting lightheaded and you can faint quite easily. I mean, it's not like it instantly happens, like you lock your knees and then you fall over. You stand there long enough and yeah, you start to sway. You do a little bit of a shake. You got to readjust and get the blood flowing again. Anyways, going back to Mr. Johnson there. He's obviously very frustrated and he's mentally done with the whole charade. His voice, his tone, his jerky action. He's had enough. And if you're a Brexiteer, that is good news. And if you're a Remainer, that's bad news. Because when your negotiating opponent is done dealing with you, the conversation is over. And then the next step would be to do things to sabotage them.
If you'd like to learn more about analysing body language, there is a video course available on Mandy's website for Gold subscribers, where Mandy teaches more about her techniques of deception detection. There's also other content such as the Crime series and Interesting Minds series, available to both Gold and Silver subscribers.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.